Greetings, comrades. Hope this finds you well. Quick shout out to the Indie News Network, which I'm stoked to be a part of. So I came across this clip of Jimmy Dore siding with the capitalist class, siding with the Biden administration, and going against the Chicago teachers, going against the Chicago Teachers Union, who voted last week for remote learning because the cases there had been skyrocketing and because the school district there, Chicago School District, was not providing them with the necessary measures that they thought would make them feel safe to be able to teach in the classroom. So Jimmy Dore goes on this rant and comes out against the frickin' working class and sides with the capitalist class. Again, the only reason that the establishment, whether it be conservative or liberal politicians like Joe Biden or his press secretary Jen Psaki, are saying that it's safe to have kids in the classroom as these cases see record numbers. Again, 1.4 million people tested positive for COVID-19, mass hospitalizations, record hospitalizations currently in the United States at over 110,000 as of yesterday. The only reason, again, they're not doing any type of lockdowns, they're not wanting people or kids to do remote learning right now, even if for a short time until hopefully cases get to a smaller level, is because then if kids are at home, parents are going to have to stay home, right? Doesn't have anything to do with the safety of the kids, safety of the teachers, safety of the support staff, safety of the kids' families at home. It has everything to do with keeping the capitalist economy running. As Biden said, there's not going to be any more lockdowns or shutdowns because the economy is doing good. We've got to sacrifice, a million more people have to die to COVID-19. As long as the economy keeps doing good, we're good. And so that's who Jimmy Dore is fucking siding with. Again, I mean, it's not super surprising that he has another really stupid take, frankly. I mean, he was not too long ago defending fucking Kyle Rittenhouse, right? So here we go.
Whether they should open the schools because of COVID and because Omicron is so much more contagious. Omicron, the symptoms of Omicron are very mild, and they're like a cold. And a lot of people are saying that's good because that signals the end of the pandemic. Because
Dude,
now,
how is it the end of the pandemic when we're still seeing fucking record cases in the United States? Again, 850,000 people have died in the United States. Close to 2,000 people are still dying each day because the United States has completely failed in their pandemic response. And so Jimmy Dore's solution is just let it spread even more so more people get sick and die. I'm going to do a video later on, but there's this interesting study from last year showing that people with long haul COVID symptoms, even people that didn't get severe complications from getting it, are still having it. We don't want to spread this to more people. He's such a fucking idiot sometimes.
going to become endemic, and now it will just circulate.
We don't want it to become an endemic. The less amount of people that get COVID-19, the better. That should be the fucking goal. I mean, goddamn. It's not that difficult.
Symptoms that it will present with are those of a cold. Even though it's not, it's the Omicron cold. So everybody's
also very much devaluing, people with disabilities, people with so-called comorbidities, people with chronic illness who, if they get this, it's no guarantee that it's going to be mild. And again, you don't know. There's, perhaps it is milder in some people, but that's not the case for everybody. And you don't want to be the person who gets the Omicron variant and has a very fucking severe reaction to it, right? That's how stupid this fucking take is from Jimmy.
Shitting their pants about kids having to go to school are just repeating propaganda. Some big pharma fund.
What in the fuck is he even talking about here?
Funded establishment news. Congratulations. Do you know the damage that is done to kids not being socialized.
Well, I'm going to show you a letter too from this New York City high school student actually outlining what school is like right now in New York City. It's probably similar in Chicago, similar where I'm here in Washington State, because of how many teachers and support staff are testing positive for COVID-19 right now. Like, he's talking about how much better education is in person, and yes, under ideal circumstances, for sure, but the circumstances are far from ideal right now because of how many people are testing positive for COVID. It's just basically a fucking free-for-all in the schools right now. And again, that's why they need to be closed for a time until these cases subside, so they're actually able to get a decent education in the classroom, something they're not able to get right now at all, because again, so many teachers, so many students are testing positive.
In schools, we don't even know, but it's great. And the Chicago Public Schools Teacher Union are so fear-mongered, they just vote.
Again, it had everything to do with the school district not taking in the needs of the safety, the needs of the children, and the teachers not providing things like adequate masks and adequate testing and adequate protocols for when they could, opt for remote learning, right? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, he's coming out against the goddamn teachers and teachers union, going against the working class. Jimmy, like, this is such a fucking idiotic take. I mean, goddamn, dude.
Voted to end in-person school. They are at a higher risk of contracting the Omicron cold. Yes. Yeah. They are at a less risk for severe disease. So what you're saying is we're using the word risk.
Using very ableist talking points right now too.
Now to describe the symptoms of a cold. So kids are at greater risk of catching something that will present as a cold.
Top 5 Zoe reported symptoms. So this is the early London data, right? Most common, runny nose. Second most common, headache. Third most common, fatigue. Sometimes the fatigue was bad, sometimes it was mild. Fourth most common feature, sneezing. Fifth most common feature, sore throat. The implication is obvious. If you have any of these and you've had colds in the past, you're going to think it's a cold.
But again, yes, perhaps the majority of people who get this variant have mild symptoms. That's not the case for everybody. Not all of these teachers don't have so-called comorbidities, aren't people with disabilities, chronic illness. If they catch this, even if they are vaccinated, it could be very problematic. And again, you don't know how somebody is going to react to this variant. It is mild for some people. It's not going to be that way for everybody. That's why we should be trying to prevent the spread of it as much as possible, handling it how China has, right? Mass testing, targeted quarantine and lockdowns, providing for the needs of the people.
But it may well not be. It may be an Omicron cold. Need to get tested.
So there you have it. That's what people are locking down to avoid that.
God, he's so fucking annoying sometimes. Standing for white supremacists like Kyle Rittenhouse, and then now coming out for fucking going against the teachers union, siding with the Biden administration and the capitalist class. So just real quick, I got to get going here. I'm going to share this article about what a New York City public high school student said. I'm a New York City public high school student. The situation is beyond control. I'd like to preface this saying that remote learning is absolutely detrimental to the mental health of myself, my friends, and my peers at school. Despite this, present conditions within the schools necessitates a temporary return to remote learning, if not because of public health, then because of learning loss. I knew that some of my teachers are absent because of the announcement at a school there's study hall has become a super spreader event. I'll get to this in a moment. 25% of the kids I know, including myself, realized there were no rules being enforced outside of attendance at the start of the period. At cutting class, it was ridiculously easy. We left. There's functionally no learning occurring within study hall, and health conditions were safer outside the auditorium. It was well beyond max capacity. Yeah, so this is the education that Jimmy Dore is standing for, right? Third period at a normal class period. Hooray. First thing the teacher did was pass out COVID tests because we've all been close contact to a COVID positive student in our class. Classes that I did attend were quite empty. Students are staying home because of risk of COVID without testing positive as they should. And some of my classes had 10 plus students absent. Nearly every class has listed myself and others as close contacts. 90% of conversations spoken by students concern COVID has completely taken over any function of daily life. So a perspective from an actual fucking student, not Jimmy Dore opining from his basement talking shit about Chicago teachers and the union for actually trying to do what's right for themselves and the health and well-being of their students and families. Not surprising, again, standing for the fucking white supremacist Kyle Rittenhouse and now coming out against the working class Chicago teachers. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more content, all part of the people. Peace. Much love.